Hello, my name is Alan Jacobson with FirstLook. Today I'm here to talk to you about a brand new camera and kit that we're bringing out to market. As you can see behind me, we do a lot of stuff in the search and rescue business, and it's been the driving force behind our company for many years, and it gives us a lot of pleasure. And we're really proud of what we've done in that marketplace. However, what happened is when we redesigned the original camera, FL360, to the long-range version, we ended up doing that around the COVID era. We ran out of parts. We couldn't find them, just like everybody else who ran into that area. So we redesigned the camera based on parts that were available to us. And at that time, we were able to do a lot of advancements to the long-range camera, including the ability to have enough horsepower to run night vision LED lasers for lighting. So we can get into I believe it's the 950 nanometer range, where you can't actually see the glowing lights when this is fully brightened to light up a dark space. So we now, because of those changes, we now have the option of buying the FL360 as a night vision camera. We call that the IR-C, so infrared-color. Because typically it is actually color when you're not in a normal lighting environment like I am here in my office. It does not have any UV filters in it because you want to try and get as little, as much image out of as much light as possible. So the filters are gone. So using it outside can be a little bit problematic with colors and things of that nature. It gets some weird tints to it. But inside, in a normal lighting situation, it's basically a color camera until the lights go out. And then it's a night vision camera, and you can increase the vision by turning on the night vision lights, and even has a boost like we do with our regular color camera. We have a light boost on the night vision version as well. So I'm going to walk through the kit contents for this particular kit, as well as at the end I'm going to do a pause and I'm going to actually put the tablet onto the computer, and I'll show you some examples of some nighttime filming that Matt Fittis and I did the other night. So anyway, to get started, the whole kit revolves around this camera. So no articulating camera head, nothing to break. It's 360, so you have a night vision, 180 degree fisheye lens on one side and on the left side. So we have two cameras. Software, we bring them together onto a tablet or onto a phone, and then we give you a complete 360 image that you now control with your finger. Now I go into in-depth about how to use the FL360 app and the camera. It is the color camera on a separate video on the YouTube channel. It goes through everything. It doesn't the same whether it's color or whether it's night vision. The operation is exactly the same. So some of the differences between the color and the black cameras, or the IR-C, is it has the black button on it instead of the red. It has the black anodized heat sink instead of the red, and then the name on it. Otherwise, the cameras are very similar, and the same size and structure will go through the 2-inch boring hole and all of that. Although that's not as required in the law enforcement world as it is in the rescue world. Really, to date, we really haven't seen a use case to use this camera in the rescue community. This is predominantly for law enforcement. And how we're positioning this camera is for a very specific need in law enforcement, and that's basically the execution of a warrant, right? So someone doesn't show up for court, they get a warrant issued to bring that person in to have their day in court. So if they're trying to avoid, the teams go out and find that person and bring them in to custody so that they get their time in court. So most times, a lot of those, you look at the information about the individual. They're predominantly law-abiding. They're non-violent. You never have to use the camera or any of that nature. However, there are times when that person does not want to be found. You know they're in the home, you've watched them arrive home from work, or you see their cars parked out front, you know they're there and they're hiding somewhere in the house. That's when you use the camera. You also use the camera if this person is known to have extreme violent tendencies, or their association with the individuals around them are violent. Then you'll use the camera actually just to even go through the house. So the camera goes around the corners cameras first, not a person, right? So that's sort of what we're after. Is it's a search camera searching for people and contraband. So it's not really hostage negotiation. It's not all these other monitoring or security or all that. It is to search location and search for people. We do have a team in the UK who uses it to vet places of business, auditoriums, wherever the royal family goes. So they'll actually go through first with the camera, have a look in all the nooks and crannies to make sure there's nothing there that can damage or be used against the royal family. So that's kind of interesting. So this is the camera. This is the basis of the system. We can now connect the camera, and we include in the kit. So let me actually do something first. So everything I'm about to talk to you fits inside this backpack. So the idea is that every time you deploy to exercise one of these warrants, whether you think that they're violent or not, one of the individuals on the team will be wearing this pack on their back with all of the stuff that inside that I'm about to talk about. And then the camera has already got the batteries in it and it's turned on. The tablet is already powered up, and you just if you need it, you use it. If you don't, you come out of the scene, you get back to the vehicle, you can turn the camera off, turn off the tablet, right? So the idea is it's ready to go at a moment's notice, because the camera does have a 40-second boot up time, and the tablet is roughly about the same as well. So you want to actually arrive on scene with the camera already powered up and the tablet already powered up inside this backpack. And then all the accessories are inside here, so as you go through the home or the business, you can deploy the camera however you need to once inside, and nobody has to go back to the truck. So that's the concept behind this. There is a pack or a hard case shell that's available online if you want to put in a hard shell case. By all means, the IM2400 is a great case from Pelican. It fits this perfectly. I think it's the Storm case that they bought. It's the IM2400. So this will fit nicely inside that case if you want it. We sell it without. It's just a soft bag, right? All right, so some of the interesting things about this kit, there's a departure from our rescue, is the nature of what it's going to be used for. So we wanted to give the accessorized kit compact yet accessible. So we include two basically 5-foot poles inside the case, right? But they can be joined together, giving you 10 feet, right? A little bit less, I'd say 9, because I would think that deploying it, the skinniest one, as you just do a quarter turn and turn, the little skinny one here, if you have two of those deployed, it can get a little bendy. So I usually recommend that they lock the first small pole and use the next one, which is thicker. So it gives you 9 feet, right? Generally enough to get up into an attic and stuff like that, because all you really need to do is get one of the 360 lenses up inside that attic, right? So think about you're in the house, you need to look up, right? Get the camera, put it on one pole, and put one pole on the other pole, and now you're good to go. So you got basically a 10-foot pole that was compact. Let me just tighten all of these. Now the other interesting thing that we include inside the kit, so that's there. Now, a couple of these are optional right now, but I am talking to the boss man, and I want these actually included in every kit we sell. So one of those optional things right now, but hopefully eventually by the time you see this video, it's always included, is the tripod. So the interesting thing is we can actually put the tripod on the top of the poles, right? So you can actually screw this down. I'm not going to right now for the sake of time. And then you put the camera on top of there. So imagine you're walking along a fence and of the home that you're about to enter, and you want to see what's in the backyard. You can actually take this and just pop it onto the fence. And then now 360-wise, you can see what's going on inside that fence. Do they have dogs, right, that you need to be aware of? Is if you need to go over the fence, is there something there on the other side that can harm you? Or is there something you can land on, right, like an abandoned vehicle or a shed or something like that, and use that once you go over the fence? So that's kind of neat. You can hook it. I imagine you can hook it up into attic spaces and things of that nature. I haven't really played with that, but it's a nice feature. So you can screw basically the poles into the bottom of the tripod, or you can do the top of the tripod. right? So now you can carry it and you can set the camera down in an upright position using the tripod. Also extends the reach a little bit further if you want. So that's an optional right now, but it's something that I recommend highly to be inside the kit. The other thing we include as an option is a magnet. So what the magnet can do, think of a scenario where you might want to actually monitor a hallway. So you can actually, like, even wooden doors, right, has a metal frame, like the actual hinge itself is metal, and you can attach the camera directly onto this magnet, and then you can attach it to the door. So you can monitor a hallway, right, to see if somebody from behind you or in front of you, or you're trying to, again, you're trying to retrieve somebody, and maybe you hide and thinking they'll come out, and then you can see them come out. I've heard it being used, and sometimes you just actually set it on the floor, right on the floor of a hallway in an apartment building, and you're about to blow a door. But you don't have the time, or you can't be quiet enough to evacuate the whole building. But what you want to do is make sure somebody isn't coming out of the elevator or somebody is coming out of one of the other apartments at the time you actually blow the door. So you can set up the door, go around the corner, put the camera on the floor. You can monitor 360, right? So just with your fingers, and then you can blow the door and then go inside the space, and somebody can pick up the camera as you go in if you wish. So being nice and low to the ground using the magnet as a base keeps it out of sort of the blast radius and helps protect the camera from any damage. Although it's a pretty robust camera, and it has been used in that environment, and it's survived it quite nicely. So there's that. So that's the magnet. Obviously, it can attach to cars and metal fences and the sides of metal buildings and stuff like that. So there's a magnet that screws into the bottom. You can also, like I say, they're all the same threads. You can put it onto the tripod and then have it sticking out from a magnet from the source, right? So that's the magnet. Also, as one of the optional things, I'm going to show you, and then I'll get into what the standard items are in the kit, is the ability to actually add a night vision flashlight to the top. So one of the advantages of a articulating camera head is it points like a spotlight, whereas the FL360, I always describe it as articulating cameras like a flashlight in a dark room. Wherever you're pointing it, that's what you see. You can't see anything else. But the FL360, it's like turning on the lights in a room, but it might be dim. So you can't see in the dark corners, but you can see everything around you instantly. So as you scroll through, you can imagine how long it takes to do an articulating camera to feed through a room and look and search an attic or something. Whereas the 360, you put it in, and you basically, the lens is there, and they just scan. I mean, it's so quick, right? So, but sometimes you have to light up that corner. So we have included, as an option, and I like to include it in every kit, again, I think that's the path we're going to go, is you just screw this to the top with an Allen key, and now you can actually attach like a flashlight. I don't have a night vision version, but I have just this plain kind of pocket flashlight, and you just got this rubber thing here that extends, and now you can attach it to the top of the camera. Now you can point this into that corner and light up that corner that you couldn't see before. So that's kind of an interesting, fun kind of adaptation. This is just off the internet. I mean, we didn't make this purpose for us, but it's available out there for the IR-C or IR-C camera. Now, having said that, you can also get that adapter from us or online for your color rescue cameras as well. So it has the same issue of not being able to light up far away corners, because it's a diffused all-around light versus a spotlight of an articulating camera head. All right, so to operate the camera, we use 18650 lithium-ion batteries. We include a tool to open up the back of this. Just opens up the speaker mic lid, so it does have two-way communication. So if you do have somebody who's tucked into a corner and they're refusing to come out, at least you can have a conversation with them, talk to them, and try and coax them out of that little void space that they may have got themselves into as they try to avoid you in the house. So the batteries go in. There's a positive and a negative clearly marked inside the unit. These 18650 batteries are very good batteries. They're lithium ion, like I said, pack a lot of punch into a small package, so you get about 3 hours of life. Even at some trade shows, I've gone beyond that with the night vision camera. It's they're excellent. They if you have any issues with the batteries, usually it's the charger. We always suspect the charger first before the batteries. They're that good, right? So just while I have it in my hand, we have a 2-bank charger that's included with the kit. It is a USB-C charger, so you can charge it off the USB port in your vehicle, and you don't have some cumbersome transformer to lug around. So it's just, everybody's got drawers full of these USB wall sockets, as well as, like I said, in your vehicle. It's USB-C, so we supply with regular USB to USB-C, but if your vehicle is USB-C to USB-C, they're every counter in a Staples or a 7-Eleven store carries cords like that, charging cords. All right, so those are the batteries. Basically, put the lid back on. Don't have to screw it on super tight. Just like that. Hold the button down. This little blue light will come on. Right? It takes 40 seconds to boot. Now, later, I'll pause this video and I'll actually hook the tablet up to my computer system here, so you'll be able to see the night visions that I took, and then I'll show you how to turn that light off. So obviously, if you're trying to be stealthy and you're using night vision, you don't want a flashing light on the side of the camera. So we have a setting in there, you can turn that off. So while that's booting up, let's talk about some of the other accessories that come with it. We do include a 10-inch Samsung Active Pro tablet with the kit. Now, most of the teams, once they actually get operational, they often use just their phones, which are attached to their rest of the kit that they're wearing. Over their bulletproof vests and stuff like that, they have pouches, and that the little camera or the phone pops down. We can download either the iOS or the Android version of this software and run it on those devices. But we always include something in our kit to make sure that it leaves the factory fully operational. And you can also use this tablet to change the password of the Wi-Fi on the camera itself, because if you want to be secure, right now it's FL360 123. So if you want to be able to change that, you use this tablet and you use this cord that we supply. So the camera itself is Wi-Fi. It's 60 feet line of sight between the camera and the tablet or your phone. If you encounter an area that's, you're going through a steel structure or a concrete structure, because Wi-Fi can penetrate drywall and things of that nature, but it can't go through cinder block, and it can't go through steel. So sometimes you might need to use Hardwire. So we have that option. It's included. It's also used if you're going to go underwater, because Wi-Fi doesn't work 10 feet max, right? We have optional 100-foot and 300-foot cables available for this camera as well. So that's the Hardwire. So the tablet itself, let's see here. I'm not sure why it's got no brightness on. There we go. Right now I've got the landing page for the Rescue. It actually has a separate landing page for the IR-C. So that's the tablet. We do have the option, so think of a parking garage, right? You want to lower the camera over the side of a building. Essentially, you could use this eye hook. It screws into the back of the camera. This is where the 100-foot cables actually come in handy, because your line of sight 60 feet. So if you're doing a vertical drop, you kind of have to have the tablet over the side as well to maintain that Wi-Fi 60 feet. If you go over 60 feet, your chances are you're going to lose the image. So a 100-foot cable is even handy in a law enforcement environment. That way you can stand back from the ledge and you can run the camera. So let me just plug this tablet in. As it appears, its battery is dead from using it the other night. All right, so some of the other accessories that we have. we have a pain pole adapter because the two poles are only 10 feet and you might want to see into a second or third story window. You can go to Home Depot and buy yourself a pain pole adapter and just strap it to the vehicle somewhere. Just throw it underneath the bench or wherever inside the vehicle. Have it on hand if you need it from the exterior of the building. Not too many times you're going to use it interior wise, but exterior you might want to have a long pole. You just basically screw this onto the pain pole. And then you can put the camera on top, and then you can view into that second or third story window. So really, the camera has a standard camera fitting on it. So anything in a high-end camera shop, as far as tripods, mounts, that kind of thing, poles, all fit into the FL360 IR-C. All right. We do include a headphone inside. Sometimes audio, the microphone is very sensitive. So if you think, people can't be quiet enough sometimes, you can hear them moving or breathing, or usually they're in some kind of panic state and they're, breathing heavily or shortness of breath. You'll be able to pick that up with the microphone in a lot of instances. So sometimes there is, for one of the team members to actually use audio. The nice thing is your phone and our tablet and everything like that is Bluetooth, right? So you can use a Bluetooth headset to be able to use it instead of these wired. So you're wireless from your head to the phone or tablet, then to the camera, right? So you keep the thing wireless all the way along. All right, so let me just pause the video and then I'll come back and I'll show you some scenes we took at night to give you some sort of idea of the camera itself. So what I've done now is I've hooked up my tablet to the computer so I can be able to demonstrate some of the screens a little bit easier for everybody here watching. We basically now, you can see the screen is plugged in. If I actually go down here to the down camera, you can see my cord plugged into the tablet. So that's what's operating here now. So what I've done is I've actually gone in and at the bottom here is what I want to do is disable the indicator light so that the light isn't flashing anymore on the front of the camera. So this is where you would do that. Now you do have to be essentially connected to the camera and see where the start button is, and you see where the firmware and app version, all of that has to appear. That the two must be syncing to each other in order for that setting to actually function. Now that I'm hooked up, I can basically hit the start button and you'll be able to see that I'm connecting here into my office. And this is sort of what it looks like in color, right? So as I go and I turn on my lights, you won't actually see anything on the LED, of course, because it's night vision. So if I turn off my lights in here, now it's a little bit tough. You can't really see me on screen here. There's some light from the displays, right, lighting up, but this is now the camera automatically goes into night vision mode. And you can see that there's a little bit of color because there's still a little bit of light in the room coming off the monitor. So it doesn't kind of switch back and forth. There is no switch between color and night vision. It just sort of happens. So the darker the room gets, the more night vision it becomes, if that makes sense. So let me just put some lights back on here. You'll see that it starts altering. It goes back into like a color type situation, right? And the colors are not too bad. They're a little off. Like I said earlier, there's no UV filters on these lenses. So some of the lights get a little bit, or the colors get a little bit off. So anyway, outside it gets even more so, right? So now, as we go through here, what I wanted to show you is sort of some of the clips we did the other night. As we go here, I'm going to turn down the audio.
Okay, video on, go for it.
Let's turn off the audio. We need to hear Matt and I talking. So what we're just basically doing here is we're going up into the rafters. This is a new build home. You can see me sort of down there. That's the rear of the camera, is the X. The circle is always the top of the camera. So I'm pointing the camera up into some beams, right? Some rafters. And as we move along here, eventually, you'll be able to see we're looking for some contraband up there. And there we go. So let me just turn that around. There we go here. You can sort of see the baggie there. So I position myself, Matt's trying to tell me where to point. He's looking at the display. And then I come back down. So here I just move it back. I can use my finger to move the image back. Start again. There you can sort of see the baggie there, right? So that's one of the sort of the videos we had. And then let's see what this one, I think it's this one here. What we're looking for here in this case was a weapon used in a crime, and they'd hidden it. So we're just going through all the little deep spaces, and you can sort of see there was a blunt instrument, and in this case, I mean, he's directing me as I'm just like a two-man operation. So as I pause it there, you can see the hammer, right, that we're looking for. That was a tool used to essentially bludgeon somebody. How very nice. Anyway, so that's sort of the camera in action. Like you see, it's quite unique. If you're in the United States here and you want to try it out, I'd be happy to make arrangements for my floating demo kit. You can try it for yourself to determine. Overseas, we've got it in some markets now, slowly but surely. If you're interested in selling this product, reach out to us as well. We generally only have one dealer per geographical area within the United States, and only one or two per fairly large company internationally. So first come, first go kind of thing. So anyway, again, thanks for your time. Thanks for listening to me talk about our brand new IR-C camera and the tactical search kit that it comes in. And we look forward to hearing from you. And have yourself a very good day. Appreciate it. Thank you.